How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing excellent. It's very easy to talk about a good movie.
Yay.
Is it kind of, I want to start with one of the things that I think is really interesting is that when something like this premieres on Netflix, you don't have to worry about the opening weekend box office. You know, you're not like staring at it being like, please make some money, because it's just going around the world. And you know what I mean? Is that sort of like nice to know that you don't have to worry about that box office?
Oh, it's fantastic. But there is data, right? Like, it's not like this business isn't data driven and they don't collect the numbers. They're still tracking eyeballs. I think what's so exciting, though, is I think about a film like American Son, right? Like when we premiered American Son, that's a film that if we had gone the box office route, it would have been in 2 cities in the United States, tiny art house theaters, and we would have had a tiny impact based on what we were able to do with Netflix, because we overperformed all over the South, overperformed in Europe. We could see how many people all over the world identified with this Black family. And I think it's going to be a very similar experience, like times 1,000 with the Prom, because of this incredible cast and because it's fun and it's really a party. And, you know, we're going to get to see through the data, depending on how much of it Ryan shares with us, because I'm not a producer on this one, but we're going to get to see how people all over the world, including in countries where it's still illegal to be a member of the LGBTQ community, how people are engaging with this material and embracing it and celebrating with us.
Oh, I was just going to say that that's one of the things I love about Netflix is that there are so many people that don't have access to this material that will be able to see it. But and this brings me to Ryan Murphy. One of the things I love about him is his push for inclusion and diversity, both in front of and behind the camera on everything he does. For both of you, can you sort of talk about getting to be and work with a filmmaker like this who is so pushing the boundary?
I can't say enough about Ryan Murphy. I think he's an incredible tastemaker, and I'm so proud to be a part of his universe now. I was so enamored with him in my audition process because he just sat down and asked me a bunch of questions and asked me about my lived experience as a young queer woman of color. And he really wanted to use that to push the story forward and to allow Alyssa and Mrs. Green to develop into the characters that you see in our film. And I'm really grateful that he gave us the space to talk about that, because there are a lot of conversations to be had around, in my opinion, particularly young girls of color who identify as LGBTQ, because our stories are not told nearly as often as the stories of young white males who identify as gay, or quite frankly, young Black males who identify as gay. So this was a golden opportunity. I'm very grateful that Ryan didn't shy away from it.
Do you want to add anything, Kerry?
No, Ariana said it all perfectly.
Got it. I love the song Love Thy Neighbor because it points out the hypocrisy in the Bible. I'm sure you guys each have a favorite song in this, or maybe you don't. I'm not sure. Do you have a favorite?
You know, I have 2. I love Wear Your Crown that rolls in the credits, because I think everybody should be wearing their crown all the time. But I also really love Unruly Heart that you see Emma, played by Jo Ellen Pellman, sing, because it's our anthem. It really is. It's the anthem of all the unruly hearts. And, you know, it's just, sunshine. And she sings it so beautifully. And it's a glorious moment for our community. It's great.
I love It's Not About Me. I mean, just watching Meryl do that live and then getting to see her do it again and again and again. And there is no stunt double doing that dancing. Like, those are her fan kicks. That's her belt. Like, that is her. It is really her. Because I was in the room, people. Like, and she had already recorded it, but she was still doing it for real.
Full out.
Full out.
Full out.
I just was so blown away, and I love it. It just embodies that whole character, that whole diva thing. I love that song. I think it's so funny, and she's so perfect in that moment.
Yeah, she's kind of good in that.
She's okay.
Yeah.
For once in her career, she's done
exactly.
a good job.
Yeah, never done anything else. I love the finale, and I think that people watching it at home are it's gonna bring a lot of people are gonna be very happy. And I'm curious, it's such a huge number with so many people. What the F was it like trying to put that thing on film? Can you both share like some backstory?
I mean, it was a task.
Days and days in the making.
Yeah, it was, and it was an all skate, and there are a million extras, but it was a beautiful thing because, you know, all of our extras identify as LGBTQ somewhere on the spectrum. So to have so many of us in the room to be a part of this huge celebration, the energy was palpable. You know, I really credit Ryan and the team and Casey Nicola and everyone, our choreographer, for trying to keep it organized, because wow, what a challenge. But I think the product we have at the end of the film, it speaks for itself, because I'm bopping and crying as I'm watching it, just as me now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I really do. God bless Ryan when we all got together, so much laughter, so much goofiness. We loved working with each other so much. It was like herding cats. Like, I don't know how they got us to do anything. Thank God, actually, for the background artists, like all those dancers, because they were so much more disciplined than we were. And their work ethic was so inspiring, because they had so much more of the heavy lifting to do in terms of really conveying that celebration. You know, they dance and dance and dance and dance, and then they part ways and we do a little shimmy, but they are like dancing. So it was really, it just was so much fun. And I look at it now in a COVID world, and you're like, when are we ever going to see that again? You know, hundreds and hundreds of people in a room together, singing and sweating and dancing and crying, like just all kinds of bodily fluids and germ exposure. But we were like in it. It was right before the world shut down. And, you know, when I think back on like the first time that Ariana and I did that scene where I say that I love you, and, you know, we have that reconciliation, because it was a room full of background actors who were all LGBTQ young people, they burst out into applause, because they felt like it was their own mother telling them the thing that they needed to hear, or maybe that they were lucky enough to hear. And it was so moving for us. And I went around and hugged 50 of those young people. Like, I look at the world we live in now, where I won't even, you know, like, I won't hug my cousin. I won't, you know, we're so boundaried now. And I just think what a precious experience that we got to share that with each other.
On that note, I got to go. Both of you did such a tremendous job. Good luck with the rest of the speed dating.
Thank you.
Thank you.